dramatically expanding immigrants that are coming to work, a guest worker program to deal in the areas where there are shortages, investors, dreamers, people that come to our great universities. All these people should be welcome in our country, and the unwritten contract ought to be embrace our values, and you can pursue your dreams in this great country, and by doing so, you're creating opportunity for more people.
We welcome you back to America's Forum. You saw former Florida Governor Jeb Bush at the Detroit Economic Club 2 days ago saying we should do more to welcome immigrant workers. Governor Bush seems to be moving in a direction that the administration has taken off at a dead run. For example, in the Washington Times article, IRS Commissioner John Koskinen confirmed that amnesty to illegals would, quote, be able to get extra refunds from the IRS for money they earned while working illegally, so long as they filed tax returns during those years. To discuss this further, we're very pleased to bring in federal tax practitioner David Selig, who joins us from Newsmax, New York. David, thanks for your time.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
You know, David, I said before, if I ever chaired the Ways and Means Committee, I'd have you there on staff because you unearthed this. This is a major bone of contention from back in the days when I was on the committee, where guys at the IRS say, look, we're just interested in revenue. We don't care where it comes from, but what they're doing now is giving tax credits to illegals who file returns. How do they file returns in the first place?
Well, this is a terrible affront, and it is an absolute assault on the American taxpayer. To file a tax return, all you need is a taxpayer identification number, and anyone, legal or otherwise, can just waltz into the IRS or go online and get one. Now, this is where it gets so bad. I've mentioned before, Section 152 of the Internal Revenue Code allows illegal immigrants and people who are here legally to deduct dependents that live in Mexico. And each dependent in tax year 2014 is worth $3,950. Here's the rub. If you come here and you have a taxpayer identification number, and you say that you are from Mexico, maybe you're from Ecuador or someone else, no one is checking this out. And you say, I'm married, so right away I'm exempt for $12,400. I have the two exemptions, my spouse and I, that brings us up another $7,000 and change. And let's say I have 3 or 4 dependents supposedly living in Mexico. That brings us up to about $32,000 exempt. So I can claim income of $32,000, get back every dime I may or may not have paid, and qualify for the Earned Income Credit, which is a handout of $6,143 from the federal government, aka the American taxpayer, and most states have matching funds. So this is theft, it's thievery, and it is an outright assault upon our pocketbook.
And the IRS is complicit with the illegals to allow them to rip us off.
They are actively pursuing this. I got to tell you this, JD. This year, I want anyone in law enforcement or with a family member in law enforcement to review IRS publication 596. It is a blueprint for fraud. It is a blueprint for how to game the system. And that's what these places are doing. You know, you go to these areas that have a high concentration of illegals or immigrants, and you'll notice there are more tax return preparing places than anywhere else. And that's because it's a cottage industry. This year alone, they have swindled the taxpayer out of over $18 billion. And that doesn't even allow for the administration costs. I'm just talking about the doling out of your money, of my money, of everybody who works for a living, their money, and giving it to somebody who is not contributing, they're taking. An individual who gets back more than they pay in is not a taxpayer, they're a dependent of the American taxpayer.
And we appreciate you for sounding the alarm, David. I hope my old committee, now with new Chairman Paul Ryan, the Ways and Means Committee, actually starts dealing with tax enforcement, but sadly I have my doubts. David Selig, we thank you for your time. When we come back, the right-thinking man on the left coast, James Herson, will be here.